Hi, today we're going to make probably my favorite dessert in the world. We're going to make bread pudding. Everybody knows how to make bread pudding. It's real simple, it's real easy. But playing around with it for a long time, because I'm a fan, I've kind of learned certain things about at least how I like it. It's all a very personal thing. But I've learned some secrets and I've learned some certain kind of magic ratios. So today I'm giving away all my secrets to my famous bread pudding, my world famous, which means my wife and 3 friends. Bread pudding, okay? So the first secret I want to talk about is just kind of the basic recipe. We got 3 or 4 main ingredients to bread pudding. I'm going to do a little chalk talk. It's the kind of my instructor pass coming out. But bread pudding, first ingredient, of course, is bread. Eggs, milk, sugar, and butter, which I suppose is optional, but not really. Okay, so one of the things to think about here, one of the secrets is all about kind of the ratios. So the first thing you want to do is you want to decide how many servings do I want to make. And it's probably going to be easier if it's a nice even number that's easily divisible by 2 or 4, so you don't have to do a bunch of calculus here. Like 8 is a good number, 12, 16 are better than say 7 or 13 or whatever. You'll see why in a minute. So I usually make a small or large batch, which is either 8 or 12. And for 8 servings, I use a little 8x8 pan. And then for the 12 serving one, I use the kind of 9x14 bigger baking pan, okay? So decide how many servings you want. We're going to use 8 here. Okay, here's the big secret. The rest of the ingredients, you go from big to small, from bread to eggs to milk to sugar to butter. You just cut each one in half. It's very Boolean. 8, 4, 2, 1, 1/2. That's it. That's the first secret. This is just this ratio, and if you make it a big batch, 12, it's just like 12, 6, 3, 1.5, 3/4, you're done. Whereas if you were using 7 or 11, you'd be doing the higher math. Okay. So, second secret: cinnamon bread, cinnamon raisin bread. This is Cinnabon. I don't have an actual favorite. Anything will work. It's all good. So we need 8 slices of cinnamon bread. These are kind of small. You could use 9, or if you have that giant Texas toast, you could probably get away with 6. It doesn't matter. So here's the next secret: toast the bread. Okay, so we're going to take the bread, throw it in the toaster on high, get this stuff nice and toasted, and we'll toast it in batches of 4. Okay, while that's toasting, we're going to start making the rest of the pudding over here, whatever we're going to call it. So we need 8 bread, so we need 4 eggs. Shell out of there. It's for extra crispiness. We need, let's use this, 2 cups of milk. And then we're going to need a cup of sugar. So for the sugar, you kind of have an option. You can use white sugar, you can use brown sugar, you can use kind of any amount you want, any ratio of those two, depending on the flavor you like. I like turbinado. I'm a big fan of turbinado. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some, let me just break this loose. I'm going to mix some, I want a cup in total. I'm going to mix some turbinado with some white sugar. Oh, I think we need a little more. That looks like a level cup to me. Awesome. And then there are a couple little seasonings we want to put in here. Cinnamon, of course. A little cinnamon never hurts. Nutmeg. Oh, it smells great. Yeah, that's the smell of bread pudding right there. And a little bit, not too much, a little bit of ginger. I don't know what size it is. It's a good looking little spoon and it fits in there. That's what we We're gonna whisk this up. Okay, this is all mixed together. And now we just have to wait for the bread to finish toasting. Okay, so now we're going to take the toast and I'm going to cut it into cubes. What you can do, some people tear it up, some people leave it whole. You can do different things, but because it's toast and not just soggy old bread, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's okay to kind of cut it. So we have 8 pieces of cinnamon raisin toast here, cut into basically 1-inch cubes. And I'm gonna put all this in here, in this bowl. And then something else we're gonna do, to add a little vanilla in here. It's always a good thing. So we're gonna throw in, I'm gonna say that's a good half teaspoon, whatever that is. Okay, then the next ingredient, if you look at our little ratio there on the wall, is butter. So we got 8 bread, 4 eggs, 2 milk, 1 sugar, and a ½ cup butter. Again, this is kind of optional. You could leave this out, I suppose, but if you wanted to make it with no fat, you could leave out all the butter. Oh, by the way, your oven should be at 350, which mine now is. But you got bread, eggs, milk, and sugar, so you've got carbs and a little bit of protein there. But the butter on the toasted cubes of bread, there's a ½ cup of melted butter there. Melted butter, pour it over that. Let that soak for just a second. Kind of toss that a little bit just so it kind of soaks into the bread rather than going right into the egg mixture. That way it'll, and you know what, there's a little tiny bit left, I hate to waste it. So there we go. And it soaks into the bread. So that way when you bite into your bread pudding, you have this little buttery taste on the inside and this sugary taste on the outside. And you take your pudding mixture, which is the eggs and the milk and the sugar, dump all that in. So now you have some choices. Just kind of incorporate that without, you don't want to like mash it and kind of make it mush. But on the other hand, so some people dump this right into the pan and right into the oven. And some people let it soak all day. I'm kind of in between. I will probably put this in the refrigerator for ½ an hour. Think about making French toast on steroids, basically. You want to incorporate the pudding mixture into the bread somewhat without letting it get completely soggy and losing all of its kind of crunchy shape. Because it's toasted first, it'll hold together really well. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for ½ an hour. Okay, so here it is out of the fridge, and you'll notice it still kind of has some shape to it, even though we've stirred it up a little bit, but still got some chunkiness to it, but not too much. Oh, before we put it in, here's another secret: coconut oil spray. This stuff is great. We made waffles yesterday for, probably 30 people or so, and each time I'd made waffle, I'd open it up and spray it with this and then dump the stuff in, the batter in, and cook them, because it's oily, so it's great for that, but it also, product placement, it also, I wonder if Trader Joe's would give me a sponsorship. It also smells great. It tastes great, but it really smells great. So I'm gonna spray this pan so it doesn't stick. Oh my God, it smells like you're in Hawaii. It's coconut oil. And then I'm going to dump this all in. The oven is at 350. In theory, it goes for 45 minutes. In reality, probably take an hour, because it's pretty wet. It has to set up and everything. So I start checking it at 45 minutes. So let me do this real quick. Okay, that's in for 45 minutes, which means we're gonna check it. Really probably won't be completely done. So now we're gonna make the rum sauce, which is the last secret. So let's take a look at this. Time for more chalk talk. All right. Well, good enough. Okay, so rum sauce. You have sugar, butter, milk, or cream, or whatever you like. I'm going to use half and half because it's half and half. And rum. And again, in theory, it's that same kind of Boolean reduction, you know, boom, 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 boom. So it's like 1, 1/2, 1/4, and 1/8. Although this will go up, probably. So this is a cup, this is a half cup, which is a cube. This is a 1/4 cup of milk or cream or half and half or whatever you want. And this is, in theory, an ounce of rum, which is a shot of rum. It's all by taste. So what we do is get this going. And we'll start with this. Kind of get this melting. This will melt much quicker if we kind of cut it into little pats before we do it. Because then you got a lot more surface area in there in the pan. So every little piece of butter is touching the bottom of the pan. Look at that, it's already almost melted. Good enough. Okay, now we're going to need a cup of sugar. And again, you have some options here. You can use brown sugar, you can use white sugar. And I like a mixture, but I like some brown sugar in there because I'm looking for some pretty strong flavor. So I'm going to use like half brown sugar, half just regular old white sugar. So there's kind of a secret to this too. The secret to this is you take your time and you cook it. Once it melts, you cook it kind of low and slow. What you don't want to do is actually cook the sugar too fast, because if you do, it'll burn and stick, and you're making candy in your kettle instead of a sauce, which you don't want to do. So the secret is you need to kind of low and slow. We may not show you all this. This may take a few minutes. So let's dump all that in there. Incorporate this. So that looks saucy, but it's not. It's not even close, because the sugar is still in. If you can see it, it's still granulated. So you need to constantly be stirring while this slowly cooks. Okay, this is going for a while, so we're going to throw in a little half and half. Not a whole lot. How much was that? That was, a couple ounces. And then you need to let this go, and kind of all has to incorporate. And we're kind of getting there towards the rum sauce. In theory, I should measure this, but what always happens is this. You start cooking it and you go, oh, it's a little too thin, has a little too much butter, I'll throw some more sugar in. And you do that and you go, oh, it's a little too thick, I need to throw in some more butter, or I need to throw in some more milk. And then, so let's a little splash of this. And so you start off thinking, I'm gonna make a cup of this, and you end up making a quart. It's kind of like making pancakes or waffles or something by scratch. You're dumping all this stuff in. Yeah, it's getting there, absolutely. So now we're gonna throw in a little rum. So here's the secret on rum. Captain Morgan, no, the brand doesn't matter. Spiced rum, because you're really looking for the rum flavor. I'm gonna guess most of the alcohol cooks away anyways. But oh my God, it smells like rum, so I'm gonna start off with a good shot of this stuff. Whoa, yeah, baby. And yeah, it'll kind of get a little thin, because alcohol is thinner than water, of course. That's okay. And you let that go for a little bit. And if you want to thicken it up a little bit, guess what? Like, I think that's a little thin. So I'll throw in a couple tablespoons of sugar. Never hurt anything. This is all just sugar and butter. It's all a matter of how much you use. Let that go. Again, you have to wait for everything to dissolve because you want no granular sugar. You want everything to be in solution and incorporated. And this is looking pretty close to being done. Now, the funny thing is, we still have another 37 minutes to go in the bread pudding. Realistically, another 45 or so. We're gonna have it after dinner, actually. So, I'll shut this off. I'll put a lid on it, keep it warm, and shut it off. And you'll see that after it's been sitting here for a while, it thickens up. It almost looks like caramel. This is kind of like liquid candy. And that's okay. So then you just heat it up, constantly stirring it, of course, and it'll kind of come back to life. Okay, so we're done for now. So now what we have to do is throw a lid on that. That's done. Wait for this to bake, and we'll have it. Okay, so it's been actually about 52 minutes, maybe, I don't know. Looks like it's done. So I'm gonna take a look at this thing, see what we get here. Oh. Yeah, so it's nice, and you actually want it, yeah, it's a little bit pretty firm, almost kind of crunchy on top, which is why you want to toast the bread first. Otherwise, it can just be soggy, and then you've got burned soggy bread. But this way, you've got burned soggy toast, which is far superior. Okay, so we're gonna sit here and let this cool while we have dinner, and then we'll get into it. Okay, so the time is at hand. Stuff is done. We've had dinner. We're gonna try this out. Oh yeah. The rum sauce. Just a little more. Why not? Okay. Check this out. Now, sometimes people like this with vanilla ice cream or whipped cream. I like it with black coffee actually. But anything sweet goes good with black coffee. So holy crap, that's great. Oh my God, sorry to brag about my own cooking, but this is like my favorite dessert in the world. So, the secret that I never tell anybody is this right here. This is it, that's it. It's this Boolean mathematical ratio, 8421, or 12:6:3 1.5, or 16:8 4:2 1, whatever you want. Boom, 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 done.